For joining me on this morning on ITV. And don't forget, I did say that we'll be looking at the work as resumed by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria after spending over 100 days on medical vacation. President Muhammadu Buhari touched Nigeria just last weekend and started work in earnest yesterday, 21st August, today being the second day in office. We'll look at that and definitely discussing this very sensitive topic with me, starting from my extreme left. I have the senior pastor of Rest and Blessed Glorious Assembly, Pastor Omogbe Egwagi. Many thanks for coming.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
And of course, I have a social media influencer. He is Ewosa Agbonifo. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me here, Mr. Philip.
Well, it's good to know that the president finally made his trip back home, and that was witnessed by a whole lot of Nigerians over the weekend, and that puts to rest the speculations about his being in a life support machine, as critics had that. I want your reactions on that.
We thank God for the president coming back to Nigeria, and a lot of rumors have been heard about him that he has been on life support. But thank God he's here and headed, so welcome him back to Nigeria to come and feel the responsibility of leadership. All right,
Agbonifo, looking at what we have here, the president is back, and there were some critics who were saying that the president was not really fit to rule the country because of his ill health. Okay. But now he's back in one piece, and do you think that is in question?
Thank you very much. For me, I'm happy that he came back. At least that will boost the confidence of those coming to the country to invest. But what I would prefer is for the president to see that he's looking after up to 170 million Nigerians. So he should kindly resign and allow somebody that has the good head to take over leadership. We have a lot to do. You know, in a country that is developed, you can manage the health of the president. We as a nation, we are underdeveloped, so we shouldn't manage our leaders. So it will stand the test of time to hear that a sitting president resigned because of health, and that will go to show, and the respect we have, we transcend time, like what former President Ebele Jonathan did, that he did not contest the election, there was no violence. You can see that man is already a hero already. So if President Muhammadu Buhari should resign based on health ground, you will see that there will be investor confidence, and there will be confidence in the Nigerian dream. So,
but don't you think that we've passed that stage? Looking at the presidential speech he made,
no,
that shows he's in one piece.
No, we've not passed.
And knowing that anyone can really fall ill. And looking at the fact that he's back, so it's expected that his health is robust now.
No, let me tell you something,
what still make you think?
No, let me tell you
resign in
Mr. Philip. You see, I was reading today, they said he's going to be working from home because there's rodents in his office. So that goes to show you the way they see us, because he's not fully recovered yet. So they are still managing his health. Just imagine I bring a massive file for you that for 140 days you've been away. I give you files. Can you spot the zeros in that file as a young man? Talk less of a man of almost 80 years. So we should look at the Nigerian dream. We should be more articulate and focus about the facts. So this man is a good man with good intentions, but the earth is not allowing him to work. So he should pave the way for somebody that can spot the zeros, spot the errors. I remember the former governor of Edo State, Professor Osumbo, when you bring anything to his table, he will minute it and tell you to go and correct it. President Buhari, to me, cannot spot those things because he's concerned about his health. So we should not use the people of Nigeria to play. This is a country. It's not meant for one person. So if you feel you are not competent, your health status is affecting your leadership, you step aside. In a developed country, it can be managed because you already have a system that works. You already have the structure. In a developed country, you cannot manage leadership. So for me, it will be a thing of honor if he should step aside and allow somebody that is sound to lead us. We have a lot to achieve. We are backward. years and years backward. Nothing is functioning.
Okay.
So we shouldn't manage our leaders at this stage of our lives.
Let's look at the aspect of the anti-graft war. Let's look at a fight against insurgency as started by the President, Muhammadu Buhari's government, the stern ability that he brought on board in fighting insurgency. Now, all of this, having this at one side, would you see that the health of the President as he has arrived now, do you see that also in question, that he may not be able to do much as he expected?
Thank you. We heard him, was speaking to Roy yesterday. All he said, he never made sure that he was sick. Even while away, we heard a lot of stories concerning him. But we're supposed to have heard yesterday that his health condition is not okay. But during his speech, such was not mentioned. So I would not want to be sentimental about this issue.
Is it not because he's well now?
Okay, I believe he's well, because if he's not well, we would have told Nigeria yesterday that he's not fine. But if you listen to him carefully yesterday, he didn't mention to us that he's not fine. So we'll take it like that. Let's continue from there. So the task before him now is to come and face the integrity of leadership. So what we are talking about now is that the president should know, or while away, a lot of things, a lot of water has gone through the bridge, under the bridge. So he should come down, sit down, put himself together, and do one or two things that will make Nigeria to go. A lot of things are being expected from him. We are expecting much from him. So I believe by now he should sit down properly and begin to think of what to do for us.
All right, that just led us to looking at the presidential speech that was made. The president broadcast yesterday, 21st August, which we'll be looking at right about now. And we're going to be looking at the key areas he touched. Looking at the key areas he touched, his comportment and his ability, what he's going to do in the remaining part of the term will be rolled in. And as we do that, we could be asking questions as a result of what the speech that the president made yesterday. I think the PD should be rolling the video clip for us to see that, and looking at where he made mention of the fact that the unity of Nigeria is not negotiable, and that will be rolled in. While we wait for the PD to roll in that clip, I believe that a lot of Nigerians, like what we had, that Nigerians, some criticized him over the speech he made, saying that he made the speech as if he was a military president and not a civilian president.
For me, the speech was okay. He just came back and he had to prove that he's in control and all that. So
all right, let's get the video clip. Let's get the video clip.
President Buhari, who said he was pleased to be back on home soil among his brothers and sisters, noted that he kept in daily touch with events at home. According to him, Nigerians are robust and lively in discussing their affairs, but was however distressed to notice that some of the comments, especially in the social media, have crossed national red lines by daring to question the collective existence as a nation, a development he described as a step too far. President Buhari recalled his discussion with the late Igbo leader and Ikemba Inewi, Chief Emeka Odimegu Ojukwu, where they both concluded that the country must remain one and united.
Nigerians' unity is settled and not negotiable. We shall not allow irresponsible elements to start trouble, and when things get bad, they run away and settle others with the responsibility of bringing back order, if necessary, with their blood. Every Nigerian has the right to live and pursue his business anywhere in Nigeria without let or hindrance. The National Assembly and the National Council of States are the legitimate and appropriate bodies for national discourse. The national consensus is that it is better to live together than to live apart.
President Buhari enjoined the security agencies not to let the successes achieved in the last 18 months be a sign of relapse, stressing that terrorists and criminals must be fought and destroyed relentlessly so that the majority of Nigerians can live in peace and safety.
we are going to reinforce and reinvigorate the fight not only against the elements of Boko Haram, which are attempting a new series of attacks on soft targets, kidnappings, farmers versus herdsmen clashes, in addition to ethnic violence fueled by political mischief makers.
President Muhammadu Buhari re-echoed his commitment to ensuring that the goals are achieved and maintained. Ikmomosa Ugiagbe reporting.
The broadcast of the president, which he had yesterday, 21st of August, has resumed office after spending over 100 days on medical trip in London. A lot of persons have been saying that, like what Pastor Morigbe just said, that the president did make reference to his prolonged stay in London and didn't make mention of the nature of his illness. But looking at what he said, he started by thanking Nigerians for their prayers. That suggested that at least he wasn't fine, but now he's okay as a result of the prayers of Nigerians. Was it necessary for him to go into the details of his ailment? And
no, it wasn't necessary because he has to set the ball rolling. So there's a lot, 104 days, a lot has gone through and all that. Going back to his health and all that, we delay the process. So what he did from the speech, you see that he had to pass a message across that 8 speeches and the Nigerian unity is non-negotiable. That goes to show that he's letting.
That's a punchline.
Yeah, it's a punchline that I'm around now to overhaul and improve on the security of the country, because his major areas are security, corruption. So those are the areas he's putting his attention on. So he had to hit on those things, because those things will put the country forward. Because since he left, you can see that the Boko Haram insurgencies and crime rate and the IPOP issues, they've been coming up because he has not been around. So
like a resurgence.
Yeah, you have to set it straight that, okay, the boss is around, so you people should take caution. So going back to say I'm not feeling fine, sorry, you
was not necessary
as a leader. Yes.
Okay.
What he did is really
remember
to boost the image of the security outfit and the Nigerian people.
Remember, you made mention of the fact that he should resign as a result of his ill health.
Yeah.
Now, the president deemed it fit not to make mention of his ill health because he sees his health as robust now.
Okay.
And you made mention of the fact that he decided to work from, he said he's going to be working from home because of the rodent. But like what reports have it, that renovation in his office that is ongoing.
Okay.
Now, looking at the posture of the president on the broadcast, can you say the president is not capable of ruling this country?
For me, the president has good intentions. I've always stood my ground on the fact that you are leading a lot of people. Your intentions may be good, but the earth right now is not favorable. So it's not by the look. You can look healthy, but deep inside you're not feeling too well. You know, we need someone that can go around the 36 states to see things on ground. It's not just taking orders and getting information. No, we need a president that is active. Investors are watching. So if I have money I want to invest in Nigeria now, I will have to look at the leadership style and the structure of the country. So if a leader that cannot be available, I don't know, how do we get good results? So to me, there was a time I visited this Bonny Island, and I was told that the gas reserve there can supply the whole of Niger Delta electricity. How many times have the power minister visited there, or the president? There are things you must do on ground. So we need somebody that is agile, you know, that can really be on ground to see for themselves. Because most times reports doesn't really show what is on ground, because some persons can cover up. So to me, the president's intentions are good, but he's old and he can step aside for a young leadership.
The next question I'm going to be asking Amoragbe will definitely incite reactions from you. Because if we look back to what the governor of Benue State said when he made mention of it, Governor Samuel Otom made mention of it, that those who are calling for the resignation of the president should have their head examined. Analyzing that remark made by the governor of Benue State, do you think that is in good faith?
Yes, I would like to take a leg along with that governor, because if you look at it, a lot of wrong statements have been made while the president was away. Just look at one of the statements made by one of the Southwest governors. He said, if the president comes back alive, he will hang himself. So most Nigerians are waiting for such governor to go and hang himself, because such statements ought not to be made in such an atmosphere. So to me, I will support the president, because I'm seeing some development stride that is making an advancement in different areas of our governance. So I support him on all respect to make sure he is going to do better than he has done before.
Okay. So from the broadcast we saw, when he made mention of the fact that he was saddened by seeing comments on Twitter and the social media making mention of daring to ask the question about our national coexistence. Yes. Do you feel at home with that remark?
Yes, very, very.
When he said that they were daring to ask the question.
I'm very, very comfortable with it, because
which means there are some areas that shouldn't be talked about.
The president is a military man. He has gone far in a security job. So to me, I believe he knows the effect of such statements. Hate speeches are deadly to national issues. So I believe that is why he's really bad, he's really feeling bad about it. So to me, you know, if you go back to Rwanda a few years ago, this is how it started. Rwanda, I think in 1994, thereabout. 8 speeches were made like this. This is how it started. About 850,000 souls were lost in a year, in 100 days. So that's how it started. So the president is aware that if we continue this way, it's going to generate a lot of controversy. So I believe it's teach in time, says 9.
Okay, back to you, because I did say that you could react. What Samuel Otom said, the governor of Benue State, those who want him to resign should have their heads examined. Analyzing that remark, was it right of the governor to say that?
The governor has a right to what he said, but to me, the way they see things, they don't project into the future. We are looking at the future of our children. We are looking at the opportunity of our children. So if a governor should come out and say things like that, he's protecting his own interest. So for me, I'm looking at what we can put on ground that our children will key into. So the leadership is the love you have for your people. If you love your people, you will do better for them. So the governor saying that is further building his own political structure to get his own gains. To me, if I was in the opportunity to advise the president, I would advise him to resign, because we've
heard
way to go about it.
We've seen protests like the Charlie Boys protest where he had resume or resign tagged in Unity Fountain, Abuja. Some are of the view that all of this tense nature that took place before his arrival really facilitated his speedy arrival.
To me, I feel like he said, you know, before they started the Charlie Boy and the whole movement, there have been people going to visit him. So I feel he has already recovered and was planning to come, waiting for the doctor's approval. But you can see that the 104 days we were held hostage as a people. So and
held hostage.
When I
was government in vacuum?
Okay, there are certain things you might think that the acting president is acting, but people will still.
But there wasn't vacuum.
Let me buttress my point. The acting president, there are some persons that will not take instruction from him. They will still go to the Abuja house in London to get instructions. So you can see that like that, such a thing can chase investors away. What I'm looking at, I don't have anything against the president. Like I said earlier, his intentions are good. But you know, it goes beyond intentions. So what I will advise for them, if they know that these recurring health issues will delay the pace and the development of Nigeria, they should do what is right to move the country forward. It is 170 million people. It is not one person. So I'm speaking as someone that see the suffering on ground. So I always will pinpoint that part of investors because I privileged to always travel. I hear when people say, oh, we are waiting to see the outcome of the health of the president. We are waiting to see the outcome of the way we constitute his cabinet. You can see that a lot of persons are waiting. They need somebody that can really put this country rolling. 4 years is enough to kickstart us. So we shouldn't be sentimental with the truth. Nothing is functioning. You are staying in your house, you are buying petrol, the roads you are applying on, they are not good. What are you enjoying as a citizen? So that goes to show that we as a people, we are too sentimental. We just accept things the way they are. No, this is governance now. If you are not too strong, step aside. There are strong people that can take over leadership.
Okay, we will be looking at the task. We will be looking at the task before the president. He's back, and today happens to be the second day that he's going to be working hard to ensure that we have a better country. What do you see as the task that the president should be setting on in the next coming days?
Thank you very much. You just mentioned the intentions of the president. You see, intentions are very, very good. Intention normally brings out your actions and reactions. So we, as a nation, we should be grateful for this president. You know, when two boxers are fighting the ring, normally when the opponent goes down, the referee will have to count for the other one to be sure if you want to start the fight again. So when he counts up to 10, he didn't get up, then you know the other one has won.
Okay, and in this case?
In this case, the president has come fully. He has not informed Nigeria is sick. I strongly believe that the things that are ahead, the plan that we have as a nation, we will be able to tackle them. So coming to the fact that he has a lot of responsibility to tackle for us, I want us to have that assurance. Let us have that belief that this man has good intention for us.
Just like he rallied for support even in his speech.
So calling for his resignation doesn't work for now.
Okay.
Let us see the way forward. Okay. Let's see the things he has gathered together to offer Nigerians.
Okay.
Your stamina. So that's what we are talking about. You should not talk about resignation.
Okay.
This man has good intention for us. So let's watch out and see what.
Thank you very much, Pastor Amorogbe Gwage. He is the senior pastor of Rest and Blessed Glorious Assembly. And many thanks, Egosa Agbani, for social media influencer. Well, we'll be taking a short break now, and after that, I'll be joined by another analyst that will be taking the viewpoints on his side on what should be the task that the president should be upon now that he is in the country. But that will be after this break.